Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, party people, welcome back to Zero Dark Nerdy, the galaxy's favorite pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs, and our good friends over at Sailfish Comics. 3 incredible locations for you here in North Carolina. One right here in Greensboro across from Best Buy, one in Winston-Salem, and one in Concord right outside of Charlotte. Be sure to check them out for all your comic book, graphic novel, action figures, Funkos, the whole 9 yards. If you're into nerdy, geeky stuff, I guarantee you they have it. Again, that is Sailfish Comics with 2 S's. Be sure to check out all 3 of their locations as well as their website. All right, so this is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Jordan. I never have an AKA.
Jordan never has an AKA.
Yeah. AKA never have an AKA.
And from the West Coast,
Rihanna, aka SD Ree or Riri, pick one. I'll answer to them all.
Love it. It's a back to school episode. One of the things about going back to school, and one of the things I really enjoyed about going back to school, was the clothes shopping, right? That was like whatever my parents could afford. You know, you're getting at least one semi or at least one brand new pair of jeans, maybe a pair of new sneakers, and this, that, and the other. So for those of you who may not know, Rihanna works for this incredible brand right here, Municipal. And, there's some exciting stuff coming out next month if you want to just give them a little trinket of what's going on.
Yeah. So next month we have, I guess like end of September, early October, we have shoes launching. So this is going to be our first shoe. We're super excited about it. Actually was meeting for 2 hours today about the shoe launch. There's been a lot of good buzz, thanks to Mark for always posting the shoes. So yeah, like we're really excited. They're super comfortable, wear them all day, wear them to do anything. And they look really cool. So we're pretty stoked. We're busy, but it's like a good busy. Yeah.
Well, I got to ask too, because he's also been posting the slides. Are the slides also going to come out at the same time?
No. So the slides will be next year, early next year.
Okay. So it's something more. I love what Municipal does. You just, tease us.
Yeah, drop it and then like wait a little, even though I'm like instant gratification girl. So I'm like, I want right now. But yeah, so the slides will be early next year. So yeah, we're excited though. It'll be fun.
Love it.
New category. It's not something we've done, so we're growing like our little wings.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's been a great, 3 years since the pandemic when you guys launched, and it's so awesome seeing all the stuff. The women's line dropped this year.
Oh my gosh.
Ashley's loving it. It's fantastic. So,
and we have like so much more cool women's stuff coming. So I'm very excited.
She loves her sweater, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very comfortable.
Yes.
Perfect.
So
love to hear it.
Go.
Thank you.
Well, as I hinted towards earlier, back to school. This is our back to school episode. For those of us on the East Coast, a lot of kids started back up. I know on the West Coast, it starts a little bit earlier. We had the pleasure of having Archie on our last episode, Archie Gips from Unrealistic Ideas. And apparently the kids already started school weeks ago over there. So, it seems like at least the whole country is now back to school at this point. So we wanted to talk about, after being 5 years in, I get requests for stuff that's already been done. Like, hey, have you done a favorite baseball movie? Have you done a favorite this, a favorite that? One thing we've never done is a favorite school episode, as far as just TV shows, movies on high school, middle school, college, the whole 9 yards. So, I got with my wonderful daughter here and the incredible Rihanna. We've been sharing ideas the last couple of days to talk about, just some of our favorites. I mean, there's a long list of them. It was one of those things to where I was like, well, how many do I like besides the obvious ones, right? You got your Ferris Bueller's out there and, some of the marquee ones. But after kind of going down some lists, like there's a lot. So I actually had to skim mine down significantly for this list. But, I guess we'll start with our recent college grad from UNC Wilmington over here. I'd love to get your feedback on some of your favorite school shows or movies. And you can do either one or start with one or go with the other.
Okay. Okay. Well, my favorite school movie of all time is School of Rock with Jack
Nice.
Black.
Nice.
I watched that movie hundreds and hundreds of times when I was a kid, and I still love it.
I can vouch for that as a dad.
Yeah, I still love it the same to this day. Yeah, I love Jack Black, everything he's in, and I love the principal in it is really funny as well. And that's how.
Oh, is that Joan Cusack?
Yeah, Joan
Yeah,
Cusack.
Joan Cusack.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, she's so great.
So good.
And I feel like my first introduction to Stevie Nicks was in the part where they're at the pub and it plays The Edge of 17 and I think she gets on top of the table or something, or she starts singing along. But yeah, I love that movie. It's just such a good feel-good movie and fun, and obviously a great soundtrack. And yeah, so that's my favorite back to school movie.
Funny,
Yeah.
funny story. So I'm named after a Stevie Nicks song. My parents named me after the song Rhiannon. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's how I got my name.
ask you that.
Yeah.
That's
no, it's
awesome.
Cool.
my dad was a huge Stevie Nicks fan. So all growing up, that's all we listened to. And Eagles and Poco and all that stuff. But yeah, that's how I got my name.
That's
I
awesome.
went through a really big Fleetwood Mac Stevie
Yes.
Nicks phase that went on a very long time, and I still love it. But yeah.
I saw them in concert and I was literally 3 rows from the stage. I was like, she could spit on me and I would be okay with it.
I will get the spit tattooed on me
That's
eventually.
crazy.
This will be fun.
Reed, what's one of your favorite ones?
All right. Are you ready? So, Brian, you might know this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Jordan, if you're going to know this one or not.
Yeah.
PCU.
I'm so glad you
Politically
said that.
Correct University. That is one of my hands down favorite freaking college movies. It's so good. Jeremy Piven and
Favreau.
It's literally one of the funniest movies about college ever. And it's so true about stereotypical frat boys and everything's captured so perfectly. And then when George
Clinton.
Yeah, George Clinton and comes and plays music and everything about it is amazing. Jordan, have you seen it?
No, I have not. I don't think I've heard of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I wanted to. So this was going to be one of mine as well, as at least honorable mention. So trust me, while she's in town, we are going to watch PCU.
Yeah.
So that is the plan. And I love that choice. Because to me, I feel that this is honestly the most underrated college movie of all time, if not just school movie of all time.
Or just comedy. I feel a lot of people don't know. I own it on VHS. That's where we stand. And I own it on DVD. It's so great. I watch it all of the time and it just makes me laugh.
It's so great.
So good.
For those of you Entourage fans out there, which hopefully is a lot of you, because we've been talking about this show since day one, this is the beginnings of Ari Gold right here as Jeremy Piven. And you're right. It's so funny too, because of all the groups that are in, you know what I mean? It's almost like cancel culture before cancel culture became a thing.
Exactly. But it's so accurate too. Every portrayal is so spot on. You're that makes sense. That makes sense. And it's also really funny.
Sounds like I like
it. It really is good. For those of you watching and listening out there, if you have not seen PCU with Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau, and of course the incredible George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, it is fantastic.
It is.
Definitely check it out. So mine, I know this may be cliche, but I don't care because this is a movie I probably watch minimum 4 to 5 times a year. And I thought it was fitting because it is the 30-year anniversary this year of Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah.
For me, this isn't just a great high school movie. I think it's just a great movie done very well. You got old school, early stages of fame, Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, a lot of people in here that just made this movie absolutely incredible. So, came out in 93 about the class of 76, or I'm sorry, 76. And if we were to compare that to nowadays, it would be like if this movie came out now, we're comparing it to the class of 2008, which is
Stop it.
insane. Like that's how crazy old school days was, because it seemed like the 70s and 90s, they weren't like 2 decades apart. It was like it seemed like the 70s was so old, like so
Another
long
lifetime.
ago. Yeah. And it really wasn't. I mean, it's 15 years apart or whatever it is. So on Entertainment Weekly's 50 best high school movies, this is number 3. I mean, to me, like I said, this is my number 1. It's just a classic. I mean, it's one of those that you're going to see for those of you that still watch DirecTV and still have cable and haven't streamed like everybody else. But I will still stream the shit out of it. But it was one of those, like, if it's on TNT or TBS, like, I'm watching it.
Oh, 100%. I love that movie. I actually will have to send you the picture of me and all my college girlfriends our senior year dressed up as the seniors with like those like baseball shirts.
Yeah.
As seniors, we had like whistles with the socks. It was a whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think I have the costume that I could probably put on and just be like, this is fine. Yeah. Oh,
That's
and Matthew
great.
McConaughey in that movie, epic.
Come
There's
on.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm secure enough with my masculinity. That guy's easy on the eyes. Come on. Any male out there that says he's not an attractive male, there's something wrong with you.
And it's like, honestly, it's less about like his like physical features and just more about his like
demeanor,
presence, like how he like shows up in movies and just even in his interviews and stuff. Like,
excellent. So, what's one show about schools or college or whatever that you're into, or you can go back to movies? It's up to you.
I would say shows. I'm definitely more of like a show person than movies lately, honestly. But I guess to just plug one would be Abbott Elementary. Just because it's recent, it's incredible. It's people who love Ted Lasso just because it's so feel good should watch Abbott Elementary because it's so feel good. Like it's so great.
I've never seen it, so I'm excited.
You will
about
start watching it and you will love it.
Yeah. It's so all the characters are great. It's funny. It's shot like the mockumentary style, like The Office
style.
or Parks and Rec.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I love Abbott Elementary, and I'm trying to put so many people onto it. It takes place in Philly, and like inner city schools, and this one they're at Abbott Elementary does not have a lot of funding, so the teachers, it's very like real portrayal or like genuine portrayal, it seems like, of the majority of teachers, public school teachers go through. It shows them having to spend their own money on supplies and dealing with parents, and there's lots of Eagles representation because it is in Philly.
Based in Philly.
They plug the Eagles a lot.
Making Dad proud.
Yeah. Like I said, the characters are just awesome. They're so lovable. I'm a huge advocate for that show, and I can't wait. I think season 2 came out earlier this year. That the strike stuff will, get resolved soon, and they'll come to terms with streaming so that we can get more of it. Because I'm eager to have season 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm eager to have a lot of things that are on hold right now. But
Well, I'm excited to watch that though. It sounds right up my alley.
Really
you said Ted Lasso, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just very good vibes.
Yeah.
It's a very good vibe show. So
it is, and it's funny. It's good comedy. She put me onto it. I mean, the Philadelphia factor helped, obviously, but the cast is great. I need to watch more of it. I'm only halfway through season 1, but definitely recommend Abbott Elementary. And you can stream it on what, Peacock or?
I think it's Hulu.
Okay, Hulu.
Perfect. I have both.
It's I'm not sure, but it's I'm pretty sure it's Hulu. I'm like almost 100% positive.
Yeah.
Hulu.
So, Ree, what's one of your shows, school or college based?
I mean, this is going to be probably pretty standard. Felicity.
No, wow, nice.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think it came out when I was graduating high school. So it was right, I was moving away to go to college.
Yeah.
So just everything really hit with me in terms of her moving away. I didn't move from California to New York, but I moved from Southern California to Northern California. I left my friends, I left my family. There was a lot of similarities that were happening in my life that were portrayed on the show. So I could really relate to them, because she was dealing with trying to find a new job. Like I did kind of move to college because I was in love with this guy. And like, you know, like there's all these like things that just like connected so much to like my life that I was like, this makes sense. And even now, like I'll still watch it because it takes me back to that time in my life when I was like living in a dorm by myself, like with friends, and I was trying to find a job, and I was like navigating classes and like registering. Like there were so many things that just like synced up.
Yeah.
I watch it now and I think about like me being 19 years old or 18 years old and being in a new city without my parents, and I'm like buying my own groceries, and I'm trying to find a job, and I'm trying to register for classes. And yeah, it was a period of my life that was very relevant for that show to be released.
Love it. Love it. That was actually one of the ones I have not heard.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
Have you ever watched it?
I never have. No.
It's actually like, it's decent.
Yeah. But no, that's a great answer. I mean, that's why we have this podcast. Because I mean, we could be agreeing with each other on the same thing all day, then it becomes a boring podcast. But that's great because now I'm like, I kind of want to check out Felicity because I've heard about it, but I never watched it. And I mean, like I said, I've polled a lot of people. We did it on the Zero Dark Nerdy social media. You know, big shout out to my coworkers at Tech Systems. I sent out an email. I was like, hey, you know, shoot me some of your favorite, you know, high school or college movies, shows, everything. And I believe you're the first person to bring that up. So that's pretty cool. We want to introduce the world to stuff that you may not just already know. I'm going to go just a little bit slightly off the beaten path for TV shows. It was only on for 2 seasons, but it was a glorious 2 seasons on HBO. I got to go Vice Principals, Danny McBride, Walton Coggins. I mean, probably one of the best comedy dynamic duos in God knows how long. You know, I'm talking back in the days of like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. You know what I mean? So I know I'm taking it old school out there. A lot of people are probably right now Googling who the hell are Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. It's okay. You know, but I mean, they play off each other so well. And I mean, right now they're both on the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah.
You know, Walton Coggins has been in so much, and so has Danny McBride. And they just play off each other so damn well. And it was just a great 2 seasons filmed in South Carolina.
Yeah, Danny McBride's production company is based in Charleston, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. That's where they shoot Gemstones as well.
Exactly. And he is a graduate of the NC School of Arts right down the road in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Walton Coggins, I mean, what is there not to say about the man? You know, I've never watched Justified. I want to watch Justified now because I know he's in it. So, but yeah, just 2 great seasons.
Justified's good too.
I heard.
I heard. So good.
I actually can't wait to check that out. You know, my wife and I just got done rewatching. As far as FX shows, just got done watching Sons of Anarchy. Now we're watching Mayans, and I'm like, we need to watch Justified next. So Justified's next on the menu.
Yeah.
But
Sons
yeah,
of
Vice Principals.
Like
All right, so this is the big question. I didn't send this to the crowd yet. I'm gonna send it to them before we air this episode.
Okay.
And we'll go reverse. So we'll go with you, Rihanna, and then Jordan. What is one takeaway? Like you can say like it's an absolute truth, or like one of the biggest lies that you realized about high school or college movies?
So I think at least for me, like, and maybe like I had a different college experience, but like with Felicity, like they were very sober a lot of the time.
I
did go to Chico. I
cannot relate to that.
I went to Chico State, and I did have a full-time job. I worked at a video store. Like I worked till 12:30 at night, but like they don't ever have like really big party scenes in any of like the episodes. And I'm like, there's maybe like a handful of them, but it's not like a fabric of the story. And I'm like, that seems weird, because like the fabric of the story for most people that I know that went to college is like you go to parties and you like hang out with your friends and you do this stuff. And it was way more based in, and we did this, we also worked and we went to classes and stuff like that. But like the storylines were so far from like what I would, it's almost the same thing as like when you watch Friends, right?
Yeah.
Like they never drank in Friends. They went to the coffee shop.
But I
And
think
I-
that's also an NBC thing. But yes, I agree.
Right? Like they were like never, they like would maybe have a glass of wine or they'd be like,
Central
oh, it's a
Perk.
party. It was just like and maybe that's just a like
Yeah. No, I agree. Because as much as I love my friends, we're not meeting at Starbucks.
No, we're not
We're
gonna
meeting
go
at
get
our local
coffee.
bar.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna go to the bar and we're gonna get
Yeah.
drinks. We're gonna watch sports and like they
Yeah.
just like, sat in a coffee shop. Like that doesn't make sense to me. And yeah,
Central Perk used to remember. There's
It
like
w-
two
it
episodes
was.
that used to be
To
a
be
bar.
A bar. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they did at one point hang out at a bar, at least when there was like before there was Rachel and
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it
But, like,
kinda
Yeah.
turned into
right?
a coffee shop. So
yeah. So that was like one of the big things for me, at least about like it's not like an accurate portrayal of like
Right.
actual college life. Like
Yeah.
and also their dorm rooms were massive. I'm like, who lives in a dorm room that's 8, whatever? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just not realistic for reality in
Yeah,
college.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. Jordan, what was your takeaway? Especially being like a recent college
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I didn't really have one until just now. Just thinking about what you said. Honestly, it is the reality a lot now because at least I went to college in COVID times. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
true.
that is an
Totally different.
experience that has not
Ever
yet
happened.
been recorded.
Oh.
I don't think on
Yeah.
a big platform.
Oh,
What it's like to be in college on Zoom in your dorm and not go any, not be able
Yeah.
to go anywhere.
no.
Or like, I guess, like I had a freshman year. That was my favorite part of college because it was right half.
It was right
Well,
before.
I had a good half of my freshman year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like it was everything. Like there was more parties and fun social life. Even like I was able to go to like the clubs and stuff. I want to go to a couple.
What?
No.
I'm kidding.
School clubs is what I meant. That's genuinely what I meant. I have not been to a single club in Wilmington at all, still to this day. But
Sure.
like the school club shut down, like anything exterior to your classes is just shut down.
Yeah.
And your classes are in your computer. So it's
Yeah.
I had a really fun half of my freshman year. I was able to go out. And then that transition into like just literally just trying to graduate. Like that's all I was
Yeah.
trying to do the rest of the
Yeah.
3 years. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I just want to be done now.
Yeah,
Maybe
so-
there will be something, maybe there's things in the works that people have making about it. Cause I mean, it would, make good
Yeah.
content. Even like, I'm sure there was people doing a lot of weird things during COVID in college because they're stuck inside in their,
Or just doing
or
real
like,
weird things.
It's like
in
new
general.
drugs we don't even know
yeah,
about.
there was probably, there's good content for like comedy content
Right.
and drama stuff as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so like Rihanna, I think my biggest takeaway, so kind of double-sided here. To me, in general, and I wanted to start off with this, completely forgot. I think the 80s and 90s were the two best decades for college and high school movies. 1,000%. I mean, since then, we've had a couple good ones in there in the early 2000s. You got your old school, I mean, absolutely classic. You got Van Wilder. So early 2000s, we had more on the college side than anything, but really 80s and 90s. And thanks to, RIP to the late, great John Hughes. You know what I mean? He kind of set the precedent for here's great high school movies. I mean,
Yeah.
you got Breakfast Club, you got Pretty in Pink. And then from
16
there,
Candles, yeah.
yeah, 16, exactly, 16 candles on top of that. So with that being said, one of my favorites, I grew up, thanks to my dad, a big Rodney Dangerfield fan. So Back to School, I just love. And I mean, I knew it was obviously not going to be the same dorm room situation because he's an extremely rich dad that goes back to college and can practically buy whatever he wants. And his son, I can't remember his real name, but he was also the main character in the movie Christine, which is my favorite Stephen King movie. But just even their regular dorm room before he knocked down the walls and made it into a mega dorm room was massive. Like, I feel like all college movies made it seem like dorm rooms were the shit. Like pretty much an apartment is what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I realized the hard way at good old UNC Greensboro. Big shout out to Reynolds dorm, not class of 98, but started in 98. Big shout out to Mark Powers though. My dorm room was about the size of a jail cell. And I was like, where was this through all the movies and shows that I've watched on college?
Nope.
So that was probably the biggest lie I ever saw. Mm-hmm. That, and of course, when you see Friends and other shows based in New York where they all have massive apartments and you're just like, you're not rich.
No.
So I don't know. You live in Manhattan, so this is not real.
Yeah, this is not real.
Yeah. So that's kind of my biggest takeaway. I'd love to do like a little bit of just kind of like not really a rapid fire round, but just some other honorable mentions, things like that.
Have them.
Yes. Perfect. So, I'm going to stick for my old school fans out there a little bit more in the 80s. I got to go, like I said, Back to School is great. Summer School is a fantastic one. Just go watch it. Look up Summer School. I believe it's Mark Summers that's in it. I can't remember his name for sure, but teacher gets left behind, literally left behind. All the teachers leave the school and he's the last teacher to go. So he's forced to teach summer school and a lot of shenanigans happen in there. There's 2 horror guys in there. One of them's name's Chainsaw and they have to do all these projects and he's trying to relate to these kids, but that one's a great one. Community, as far as shows go, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Saved by the Bell. I mean, come on. That's our, you and I, that's kind of our introduction to high school before high school. In terms of movies, I got to say one more in the 80s. Can't Buy Me Love. Good old Dr. McDreamy. It's just a classic.
So good.
Nerds trying to buy his way into the popular crowd. I think they made a remake. I'm sure they did. Yeah, I think Nick Cannon's in it too, which that doesn't surprise me. But I don't want to talk complete shit about Nick Cannon because one of my favorite college films is Drumline, which is loosely based on the NCA&T Drumline. So I do want to say, Nick, I'm not talking shit about you, but Drumline goes hard as hell. And Can't Hardly Wait as another one. That
was on my list.
That's one of those. If it's on TV, I'm going to watch it. Seth Green,
exactly.
What is
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Ethan Embry. He's cast was amazing.
Great story, great cast. Last night. Last night
the soundtrack was great.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes,
the soundtrack.
Everything about it.
A lot of these movies had fantastic soundtracks, and something that we some people may think we harp on it, but I don't care. Soundtracks have made or like, I don't want to say break movies. They have made terrible movies that much better.
Exactly. 100%.
So 100%. That's my go-to. And then as far as new stuff, just real quick, or newer stuff, Napoleon Dynamite 2004.
Yes.
You said PCU. I want to say Neighbors Part 2 is one of those rare times where a sequel is just as good, if not better than the first one. I love the Neighbors movie. I think Neighbors Part 2 is really just as good. And then, we mentioned Old School Drumline, and one that's, I don't want to say on the sadder side, but more serious side. And a lot of people wouldn't consider this a college movie, but it is Whiplash.
Oh,
Whiplash is great.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I mean, great performances.
But it's definitely different than all these other movies.
Not so much a feel-good movie. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a tough love movie.
If you like Black Swan, you'll like Whiplash. It's the same complex.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Black Swan crushes my soul. Like every time I love
Black Swan.
Natalie Portman is perfection.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everything she does. All right, this is I'm a 90s kid. My So-Called Life.
Ooh!
Jordan Catalano is probably why I have terrible taste in men.
Which for those out there that never watched My So-Called Life, who's the actor that portrayed this person?
Jared Leto.
There you go. There you go.
Boy. And he's like this like perfect being who is unattainable. Like everything about him is like stoic. He like doesn't even smile. He's just like grumpy and angry all the time. And I'm just like, oh, I will fix you. So I fell in love with him when I was 14. And now here we are. So My So-Called Life is great.
All right.
Have you ever watched it, Jordan?
I'm not.
Okay, you should watch it. It's
Okay.
terrible.
No, yeah.
Mandatory one.
Okay, and then we have Clueless.
Ooh,
obviously.
love
Love it.
Clueless, yes.
Clueless. I have me and my girlfriend.
Bowling with the homies.
So me and my girlfriends one time dressed up in like full on Clueless outfits, and we
The yellow plaid.
gonna be like, what? We had disposable cameras, so we took all these pictures of us in these outfits. We lost the camera, and I'm
Oh.
it's like floating out in the universe somewhere. We thought we dropped it off at Walmart to get printed. Like, I don't know. Anyways, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Mm.
Heath Ledger, love him. He was so good in that. I also loved Julia Stiles. Like, I don't know. It was good.
Yeah, it was great.
But it was like a good take on Shakespeare type story. You know what I mean? Modernizing, you know. Oh, and then Mean Girls. We'll just end it there.
Oh.
Where we wear pink.
That's a movie I watch quite a few times a year. Just
Yeah. It's cool. It's great.
All right, sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
Bring us home.
Bring it home.
Yeah, I'll just run down the rest of my list. Ferris Bueller.
Mhm.
I've always loved that movie.
Yeah.
I think everybody wishes they could be Ferris always to this day.
Mhm. Save Ferris.
And yeah, I love the characters in that movie too. I love Cameron. I love like, you know, the juxtaposition of Cameron and Ferris and the whole plot of the movie.
They're a great yin and yang.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say with that. I love how they play off each other and like the lessons they are teaching each other the whole time.
Yeah.
I said Abbott Elementary. My more serious one is Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I don't know. Have you seen it?
I've seen almost all of it.
Okay, it's really good, but it has to do a lot with mental health.
Yeah.
And depression, and it has what's his Luke? No, I'm not even gonna try. It has Emma Watson in it, who I love anything with Emma Watson in it. I'm a huge Harry Potter. Also, Harry Potter is another.
I mean, Harry Potter, school.
The whole series. That's my takeaway. Is school is nothing like Harry Potter, and I really wish it was.
I think the majority of us do.
That would be so much more fun. But yeah, Perks of Being a Wallflower is a really, really great movie. And then on the total opposite end of the spectrum, Pen 15 is a Hulu show with these two actresses who I can't remember their names, but they are their, current 30-something-year-old selves playing themselves in middle school alongside other middle school aged kids.
It's hysterical.
And they're reliving their middle school years in the 90s. It's incredible. It is incredibly funny. It's often, the two girls are Maya Ishii Peters is the character and Anna Cohn is the character, and their names are,
Maya and Anna.
Yeah, they're real names.
They're really playing themselves.
Like Abby
and they're reenacting all this stuff. So Jordan put me into this as well.
Okay.
And they're acting it as themselves, but as teenagers, middle schoolers.
As preteens.
As preteens.
It's really great and funny, and it's raunchy, uncomfortable at times. Like it's just good. I recommend it. Anybody that's looking for a funny show to binge.
Yeah.
It's already finished.
That's not the norm.
And Freaks and Geeks.
Oh yeah.
It sucks.
Oh good. I can't believe I didn't think about that show.
Yeah.
Just one season.
That show.
I love to think about that show though as like, why it was just for being what it was, just being like a real cult classic immediately about, and being like truthful about what a lot of high schoolers are doing or into, and like that's why it got canceled. And that's getting into or thinking about that is so interesting to me, just how good that show was, and it only had one season because of just the dumbest reasons.
Well, it was also, I don't even want to say it was ahead of its time. It was before like comic book movies took off, and like being a freak and geek and a nerd
Right.
was acceptable.
That's what I'm saying. It's
That's the shitty
that's
thing.
so crazy to me.
Right. Because if you were to come out with a show now, it'd be like, I mean, really, it was Big Bang Theory before Big Bang
Big
Theory
thing. Oh, 100%.
is what it was. And I mean, you look at this cast. I mean, you got Linda Cardellini,
Yeah.
who's gone on to play so many roles. James Franco, Jason Segel, Busey Phillips. Who else? Seth Rogen's in
Seth
it.
Rogen.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Oh.
many people.
It's so funny. Such a good show.
And it was a great
Lizzie
show.
Kaplan. Yeah. Ben Foster.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every,
it's like a who's who of like who's in
Yeah.
Hollywood now.
but it wasn't cool to be a geek back then.
Right.
Now it's like,
Yeah.
The
Now
geekier
we're
you
all
are, the
now we're all
better.
getting along.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Booksmart. That's a newer one. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Great
That's such
choice.
a-
That was Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia Wilde.
Yeah,
Her directorial debut, and it's great. It's such a good
Yeah.
movie, and I
it was
can
a really good movie.
the characters are so relatable. If you were just trying too hard all the time in high school, which I did, like I was doing way too much in high school for no reason, like because it doesn't matter. And it shows like it's not until their last day of school that they realize like we just wasted all of high school just doing academics. And we found out all these other kids who were having fun also got into Harvard, like that realization. And so they spend the day before graduation, like trying to get in all their like partying and having fun and stuff. And it's an awesome movie.
It's so good. Like honestly, I like it better. A lot of people compare it to Superbad.
Yeah.
I like it better than Superbad. I think
Superbad
it's
is
funnier than Superbad. Superbad's
is-
great,
yeah.
and that's another honorable
Yeah.
mention.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I think Superbad's great, but I thought Booksmart just nailed it.
right. And then Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Juno, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not like super centered on like being in the high school, but you know, she's a teenager and there's
Yeah.
And my last one is just Daria, the show, the animated MTV show.
Oh my god!
I love.
I haven't
Daria.
thought about that show in years.
I have the box
that's our
set of
jam.
DVDs. I love Daria.
See, we're bringing people back. That's what we're doing with this
Yeah.
episode. We're bringing everybody back.
I mean, I watched it, and when you just
Yeah.
said that, I was like Daria, and then like it all like came
Queen
back.
Sarcasm. I love her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's the Aubrey Plaza
Right.
of her time. Like,
Well,
if there's ever going to be a like Daria.
There's a trailer. Have you seen like it's fake, but it's not fake, but they knowing who
Like
Aubrey Plaza
like a fan
is,
made trailer.
they made Aubrey Plaza put on the Daria thing and like
Oh.
did a trailer for a Daria thing.
I didn't know that.
But knowing that it wouldn't happen, but it was for some show or like comedy sketch.
Oh,
thing.
man.
But I'll plug it in.
Yeah, because I mean,
A video
nobody
in the
else could
thing.
play that role but her,
There's a video of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, for sure, she's the perfect role for her.
Good stuff. Good
Oh,
stuff.
what a-
I want
yeah.
to give some shout outs to my coworkers here. As I mentioned earlier, you know, my tech systems coworkers, I sent them out a little email. So Holly, she picked Ferris Bueller, completely understandable. Dylan, aka our Wolverine, Tommy Boy. Joseph Bright went with Dazed and Confused. Becky also went with Dazed and Confused. And then we also have our boy Matt Cosgrove, Superbad, and Drillbit Taylor, which was one that I like completely forgot about until he mentioned it. It's like Major Pain, but for
Yeah.
middle school kids.
Yeah.
So with
Luke.
yes. And then who else? Marcus Lee, School of Rock, Freaks and Geeks. Kelly King, Gossip Girl. Jen Lee, she said Daria, My So-Called Life. Jen Lee actually gave me like a whole list. I'm like, I got to narrow this down. My boy Craig, Old School. Nolan, Superbad. As I mentioned earlier, Archie Gibbs. He was talking about this movie, My Bodyguard, which I never heard of until our Golden Boy episode. And with Matt, not Matt Dillon. It's one of the Dillon brothers, but I started looking it up and it's pretty interesting. And then as far as movie scenes from high school or just school movies in general, I got to say Carrie, the Black Prom scene
Ooh.
from 1976.
Okay, I would put Carrie in my list. Yeah, I love Carrie.
Yeah. So that was one of the, like, I try to think of more memorable movie scenes. And I was like, do I put this up there with Old Boy fucking the pie? And I'm like, no, this is just by itself. And that's going to do it for this episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the galaxy's favorite pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, betonline.ag, and Sailfish Comics with 2 S's, with 3 locations here in North Carolina, 1 in Concord, 1 in Greensboro, 1 in Winston-Salem for all your geeky needs out there. Big shout out to our website sponsor. That is our good friends over at Zibster. That is Zibster, who can take care of all of your website as well as SEO needs. We've been using them for the last 3.5 years now. And I got to tell you, we have never been happier with just the ease and use of our website. SEO friendly, very easy to take stuff in and out. We couldn't be happier. So be sure to check out Zibster for all your website needs. On behalf of everybody at Zero Dark Nerdy, this is your boy Brian, aka El Nino. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.